Hey, what's going on, creatives? Just wanted to do a little work in progress here. So the last week or so, OpenAI dropped the bombshell on us with GPTs, with assistants, with all of these different tools that we now have, combining all of the models into one. Really is I mean, what they've done is really pretty amazing, and I think it's something to work with. But it's going to take a minute to kind of figure out how all of this works. I know we're going to have this gold rush of GPTs out there, but for me, I think it's an idea of kind of like figuring out what's going to work early on and what doesn't work. Well, let's start here. So I'm in the GPT builder, and I was put in the link to show you how you can get to this if you don't know how yet. I'm sure most of you do. But the GPT builder. But what I found with this is that it's it's okay, except let me do this. I'm going to copy all of my information here, close it, and let's just okay. Let's see. So what I need to add to the instructions is that um, I want to I want to the user may not know how to use it, so I want to give them the instructions on how it's used. So let's do that. All right. So let's see what it does. Updating the GPT. And we're going to see if it overwrites everything or if it can add to the instructions that I have. This is a test here to see how it does. Because what I really want is on these questions over here, if you don't know what this does, I would like something over here to say, you know, let me help you get started. And you click on it and it blurts out the instructions on how to get the story started, asking for story beats, compiling the final story. So we'll like that. And let's see what it did. Okay, let's see. What did it eliminate? It eliminated list genres, characters, and tropes. Okay, so this is the part, it did eliminate some of this to assist users. So what I will do is I will I'm going to put all of that back in, close it, save it. Okay. So I have some work to do with this GPT, but what I've found is that this is okay, but if you're familiar with custom instructions, you're going to work mostly over here. And if you have custom instructions, just bring them over into the configuration screen and then start to expand on it from there. Because we know with custom instructions, you had a 1,500 character limit. Here, we don't have that limit. And the fact that we can add this knowledge base, and this knowledge base here is just stories, how I write stories. So it kind of looking at this knowledge base is saying, this is typically how we write these stories. So it gives us that idea. So if I come here and just go, how should we get started on ordinary today? Then it's going to come up and start the process. Okay. Let's talk about so I'm going to story about a man, a dog, and lost on the trail. And let's see. Okay. And expected what I wanted was to do the story beats. Okay. So it's going to give me the story beats. And I didn't want it to do the 3-act series because it's a short story. So I didn't want to do the 3-act thing. So we get our story beats, and this gives the user an opportunity to look at the story and start revising. How do we revise this story? How do we get done? And then an ambiguous ending. And this is a short story. This is pretty much how I wanted it. So, okay. And then it's just saying any suggestions or stuff like that. So you can start working through all of these things and start getting your story. So that is one. There's some work to do on this one still, but this is my first GPT that I'm working on. The second part, the second GPT is with the ability to have API with DALL-E 3. We are now looking at that. And what I wanted was I have this whole thing here. And in fact, let's do this. Okay, I'm going to tell it to write the story. Okay. So I'm going to tell it to write the story. And while it's working on that, let's come over here and see what this does. So this is the image generator. Okay. So what we're doing here, my image creator, what we're doing here, we're taking the story and then we're going to create the images. And we're going to do that via API. So this way we don't have to go into the chatbot and, copy, paste and get all of those images. We can simply run a script and get our images. Okay. But in order to do that, we have to build a scene. And this is step by step. So you can see that I'm instructing the image creator to go step by step with this process. So I put in the story that says, okay, how many images do you want? And I'm having it go 4 to 12 only because 1, it's a short story. 2, the API is, there are issues as far as like how much activity you can do across the API. So you don't want to put like 100. So I'm gonna limit it to 4 to 12. Then it says, okay, here are the characters. What are your named characters? What do you want them to look like? What are they wearing? And here I'm telling it, you populate this for me. So that's what it did. Jack, Miss Evelyn, Mr. Davison. Those are my 3 characters in this particular story. All right. And says move on. And each time I have it, is this good? Can we move on to the next step? And so we're going through it. Here's the palette. And then says, I don't want got the impression, come up with something different. And then here is the image creation. This is rather long. It's a longer than I like, so I need to get this down. So I told it it can't use more than 50 words in creating this. So we'll see what happens next. And then it says create the scenes. Now the only thing is that it's supposed to, I want to see, basically I don't have any scenes with two people in it. So I want to, what I need to do is test this. Like if I put multiple people in it, will it pass multiple persons? So I need to test that, that theory real quick. But one thing that I didn't like was that this right here, as mentioned in scene 1, because this is an API, the API is not going to work like that. So we have to get it to pass that art style every single time. So we're going to clear it. We're going to come here. We're going to take our story. All right. I'm not even going to read the story. I don't care. And we're going to say ready. Okay. So it's going to come in and say, okay, great. What story would you like me to visualize? Here's my story. Thank you for reaching the let's process. Step number 2. How many C's do you want? Let's go 6. Yeah. Okay, collection. What it does? The characters are John and Max. There's a dog, so okay. So it's gonna give me John. It's gonna give me Max the dog. I don't know how it's gonna do with the animal. We're about to find out. But it's saying okay. So it's giving me that. All right. Let's see. Let me see what I want. Okay. All right. So I wanted to look kind of like Money Heist, but we can't use Money Heist in the prompt because the AI is going to reject that. Understood. Here's a preference. So, then, okay. And you can see I put that limit on it. So now we have a much more succinct image style here now. Okay. Okay. So now we have our image style, and now it has to build the scenes. And here's the critical part here is that let's see. Okay, so persons, yes, it got John, it got Max, it got this. Okay. Great. So it did a good job there. So scene number 2, great. Yep, it got that. All right. Okay. Now we will see if it's producing all 4 scenes, if it will produce all of the prompts like this. So let's find out. Because what I don't want is having to do this one at a time, but maybe that's not a bad deal. But if you're doing multiples, yep. Okay. All right, good. We have everything, and really, I think let's test this out. I'm just gonna copy this one, and we'll go to ChatGPT, and we'll say, all right, let's see what the image looks like. Now, this is the part where the API will come in at. We'll come back to that. And let's show you what the code looks like here. First of all, I have to... yeah, okay. All right. All right. So let's come over here. This is what the code looks like. Okay. So this is the actual code to run it. Now, the size 1024 by 1024. So I'm going to change that. The quality is standard. We can change that to get a higher quality, and I may do that. And this is going through the story to get everything. This right here, this is what is sending to, this is the prompt. And so this is what I have to change. This character description, scene story, image style. I'm not sending that anymore. So I have to update this. So it only sends the scene. We're only sending the story scenes, not all of that, not the character descriptions on the image style. So that's one of the things here. Then you put your API key in. This is where it's being stored. And that is the information. And so if we look at my desktop, I did this one time. Here are the images that I got. Did a couple of times, and you can see that doesn't do bad, really, right? So the difference of why I had to change the prompt is because here, so if we look at this, you can see that it's sending the character description, story scenes, and image style, and then it's truncating them. It's basically, appending them all together to create the prompt. Well, the problem is that we have 3 characters. So that means every image, it's sending 3 characters, but not all of the scenes had 3 characters in them. So this is why I changed it up. And you can see I ran it with the old story, all 3 characters. Every single time I got all 3 characters, simply because I'm sending because I'm doing this and then appending all of it together to create the scene. Okay, so that's what I'm going to update pretty soon here. So this is kind of my work in progress, what I'm working on right now, and gives you an idea. And really what this is for is to kind of give you guys an idea of what we can do with all of these things. And now this right here will eventually become a GPT. And then I will kind of find a way to see if how I can take the script, have you download the script, change and give you instructions on what to change in the script. And then that way you're ready to go. So eventually this will become a GPT and the Haunted Scribe will get updated to become a GPT as well. So these are the two things I'm working on, and utilizing a lot of different tools that we have available simply because in the playground, I can test out this GPT in the background. Although I'm paying for it, if we were to go back and look at it, okay. So I am paying for this. So if we come back here, and the only problem is if the problem with the GPT is if you leave, it erases everything. So let's go to a different one. Okay. So you can see here that I am paying for this. So you see what the image is, November 12th. So just today, on this is $4.24. Okay. So you can see that it's with this API, image model, $1.80, GPT-4. Oh, this is me running all the stuff that I've been doing today over and over again in GPT-4. Okay. And so once I get this done, I can then move it over to the GPT and then work on it that way. So I think I'm at the point now where I can move off of the playground and move it over to a GPT and start testing it from there and not pay this. So I'm up to $11. My limit is $120. You can see I've never gone that far, but you can kind of see that if you sit here and do this enough, you'll accrue some money here. So I'm going to be moving off of this once I get my GPT working fairly good, and then move. So that is it, guys. I just want to kind of show that work in progress, kind of really drill down into what we can do with DALL-E 3, with the API, with the playground, with the GPTs. So all of these things together gives us an opportunity to really build some things. And I haven't even gotten to the actions yet. So I'll be getting into the actions fairly soon here and going to Zapier, because again, the idea now is to not just generate content, it's actually to build things and build things that people can use. So that's what we're working on right now. All right, that is it. I am done.